There we go. Now, I was saying I'm Bishop Darlington Johnson. I have the pleasure of being the pastor of Harvest Intercontinental Church. And we are honored to host this meeting tonight. This is not our first time. We take our civic responsibilities seriously here because we know how much impact the decisions of leaders can have on us, on our families. And so we're glad that we have an opportunity tonight to meet like this and hear from those who want to lead us. And our prayer is that God would grant us the wisdom to make the right decisions. I don't know if we've ever had this many, though, people standing. It looks like this is so maybe the next time we're going to have to use the larger auditorium. But let's pray. Heavenly Father, we pause to recognize and acknowledge you as the Creator, the Savior, the Lord. We acknowledge you as the God of love, the God of mercy, the God of justice. We also acknowledge that you're the source of all wisdom. The scriptures tell us to pray for our leaders. Is God speaking to us? Amen. Amen. I'll continue to pray. The scriptures teach us to pray for our leaders that we may live quiet and peaceable lives. We're in the process of electing leaders, Lord. We want leaders who will guide us and who will have the wisdom to make the right decisions for the good of all. As we listen tonight and as we ask questions, grant each of us the wisdom to make the right decisions concerning who should lead us. We thank you. I pray this with respect to all faiths present. I pray this in the name of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Bishop Johnson, for your prayer and for hosting us at this incredible facility. My name is Stephen Eric. I am the pastor at the Tacoma Park Seventh-day Adventist Church, and this is...
Good evening. I am Cindy Douglas, and I am with the People's Community Baptist Church, and I am a member of Action in Montgomery. Thank you. And together, we will be your co-chairs for tonight. Welcome, Action in Montgomery. To our 2026 candidates, Forum, People, Power, Purpose. Let me recognize all of AIM who are here tonight and who interviewed the candidates at large, council seats. Please stand if you are able and make some noise. Thank you for your active participation. Let's recognize the at-large candidates in the room. Please stand. Thank you. If there are other politicians running for the district council or legislative seats, would you please stand? Okay. We're all home folks. Last but not least, let's recognize the candidates for county executive who are with us tonight. Would you please stand? Thank you.
So AIM, which stands for Action in Montgomery, is an alliance of over 30 diverse faith congregations, schools, and tenants associations here in Montgomery County, building power to help everyone in our communities thrive. We're part of the Maryland Just Power Alliance, together with our sister organizations across the state. And as a 501c3 nonprofit, we are, believe it or not, nonpartisan. But we are political, meaning we gather as a polity, an organized society to learn, to debate, and to find a path forward. It's part of our long tradition of this democracy that when everyday people engage as collective voices, democracy thrives. So here's what we do. We listen. And this year we listened to 1,800 Montgomery County residents and 3,000 people across the state of Maryland. We formed teams. And this year, we formed teams with people directly impacted by 3 issues: immigration, housing affordability, and healthy home environments. And we developed our people's agenda. Over the course of many months, we determined what we have the heart and the capacity to accomplish, all leading to where we are right now.
Today is our first step in publicly announcing our people's agenda. Knowing that it is not written in stone, but a living document that will have to shift and respond to complex and changing times. Tonight's agenda is about people, power, and purpose. People, all of us across faith and geography. Power, built through relationship and action, listening, meeting one-on-one, and the research and analysis that grows our collective voice and position. Purpose, exercised through our people's agenda, the map that guides how and when we act. So, I'm going to invite Surgeon and Nancy to help me. We're all going to say people, power, purpose. And we'll do it in 3 languages. First, we'll do it English. Now, I want you to mean it when you say it. Okay, so I'm going to say this section, 1, 2, and 3. People, power, purpose. When I say people, people. When I say power, power. And when I say purpose, purpose. People, power, purpose. Thank you.
I will say in French. When I say peuple, pouvoir, une mission. J'ai dit peuple, pouvoir, une mission. Merci.
Ahora lo vamos a decir en español y quiero que levanten esa voz fuerte y digan pueblo, poder, y propósito. Una vez más, pueblo, poder, y propósito. Muchas gracias.
Now that we got you all engaged, thank you. We're going to ask the Executive Director of AIM, Cynthia Marshall, to please join us.
Good evening, everyone. I am Cynthia Marshall, and I first wanted to just say thank you. AIM exists because of this community, because of how you show up, Whether it's coming to hearings, sending emails, turning people out, or standing alongside one another, you are what makes this work possible. Over the past 2 years, we've seen something really special. More and more people are choosing to invest in AIM, not just with their time. Oh, sorry. Can people hear me better now? Okay, so over the past 2 years, we've seen something really special. More and more people are choosing to invest in AIM, not just with their time, but with their resources. I am so proud to share that we have more than doubled our number of donors to AIM, and people are noticing. And many of you are in this room, and thank you. Foundations are noticing, our partners are noticing, and most importantly, it is allowing us to deepen and expand our impact with more staff, more leaders, and more momentum behind this work. And that impact is real. Just recently, we helped win $73 million for efficient electric appliances. This is going to help renters lower their energy bills, breathe cleaner air in their homes, and take meaningful steps to address climate change. That's what collective action looks like. On May 11th, we are launching our 36 Hours of Giving campaign, and our goal is to have 100 people join us in donating to AIM. And you can help us get a head start by donating tonight. If you are in a position to give, I'd like to invite you to consider making a gift right now. You will see a QR code on the front of your program, and if you're able, you can simply open your camera and wave it over the code and click on the link right there. Your generosity will help us continue our strong local work and become a statewide organization. Thank you for showing up, and look around the room. I don't know that you will find another room like this anywhere in Montgomery County. This is democracy. Before I leave the stage, I'd like to invite the county executive candidates to come and sit in these chairs on the stage, and if folks who are standing want to come sit in those seats, you're welcome to. So come on up, candidates, and please join us.
Thank you, Cynthia. Before we get started, I just want to tell you a quick run-through of the program and what it's going to look like tonight. So tonight, we're going to have 3 parts. We're going to hear stories from leaders who will put a face to the issues of the people's agenda, reminding us why we're voting in this election. Then, we will hear from our county executive candidates through a structured job interview led by Marla Schulman and Sarah Hull. Can we give them a hand, please? After the job interviews, we will make commitments to each other through a multilingual call to action. And then I'll close in prayer while our energetic interfaith choir sings us out. So let's get started. Please put your hands together for Lynn, who will join us on stage to share about affordable housing. Thank you.
My name is Lynn Stein Ben-Sion. My kids are 35 and 38 and have good jobs. One is a public school teacher, and the other is a U.S. Army veteran and IT professional married to a scientist. Yet they are both stuck in rental housing with lease terms and costs beyond their control and increasing faster than their wages do. They find very few properties for sale at all, much less anything that they can possibly afford. The teacher already has to work an additional retail job year-round, plus tutor and babysit in the summer just to afford the apartment she rents now. They belong to a whole generation of bright and potentially transformative young people losing their hope. Impermanence saps their energy and their vision for being able to build their place in a community over decades. Their hopelessness breaks my heart and keeps me up at night. How many of you have children like this or are yourselves unable to buy a home? Our kids are not alone. Studies, including the Maryland Comptroller's Report on Jobs and Housing, reveal that since 2020, Maryland is losing younger and middle-income adults largely because of how expensive housing is. What does that mean for us? It means we lose a lifetime of their income, creativity, and ability to save some capital and start new businesses which employ others. It means we lose not just their taxes, but their involvement that strengthens our schools, religious, cultural, and service organizations. We lose our strong, vibrant community and become a declining locality with fewer amenities as we lose the resources to fund them. It's been proven in towns of all sizes, building housing of all types opens up existing housing as people move into new units, moderating housing costs naturally and benefiting everyone. But it takes time. If we don't take action now, we lose our opportunity to outcompete other regions. We'll have an ever smaller economy, and the people in this room and people like us will end up fighting over dwindling resources. In my professional work, I have seen that this is a national problem, but it is also a national opportunity. If we can figure this out quickly, if we provide a supply of housing at scale, and that means thousands of units, not hundreds, we can leverage the natural supply-demand equation, and trust me, those younger folks will come here. Our companies will expand, and new ones will follow because the brains and hope will be here. This larger economic pie will enable all the other things: assistance for immigrants during tough times, accessible mental health services, and clean, green infrastructure. We can win on housing, which creates the wins on everything else we value. Montgomery County was once known as a leader on housing. Let's become that again.
Thank you so much, Lynn, for sharing. Next, I'll invite up Ibrahima to talk about healthy homes and climate equity. Give it up for Ibrahima.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Ibrahima Diallo. I'm an 8th grader at Neilsville Middle School. Today I want to talk about healthy homes and climate. In my opinion, healthy homes would not have mice. Healthy homes would not have mold. Healthy homes would not have water leaks. Healthy homes would not have NO2. Healthy homes would not have hot water with fossil fuels. Healthy homes would not have gas. Did you know that 12% of kids that live in houses with gas are likely to develop asthma? My aunt, who took care of me while my parents were working, and my cousin currently live in an apartment like the one I just described. So this makes the issue very personal to me. My cousin also has asthma, which makes the situation even more serious. This is unacceptable. I thought I was living in a healthy home because my home doesn't use gas or any of the fossil fuels. I'm grateful for that, but my family is worried about the cost. Suddenly, nowadays, I keep hearing my mom telling me I can't cook my eggs every morning for breakfast or taking long hot showers that I love because it helps me wake up for school. I heard my mom and dad talking about how our bill was $1,600. When I asked them how come, my parents explained to me that everything is electric in our house, but not energy efficient. My aunt explained to me that Pepco makes $300 million to $450 million annual profit and is now asking for a 23% increase rate on delivery. That makes me feel bad. We shouldn't have to choose between living in a healthy home or paying $1,600 each month for electricity. I would like to ask for all of you, once elected, to make sure that kids like me with hardworking parents can benefit from better energy efficient and healthy homes. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Thank you, Ibrahima. I now invite up Ramatu to share about immigration. Please give a hand to Ramatu.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ramatu Bakori, and I am proud to stand here as a part of Montgomery County immigrants community. Today, I want to share some one of a thousand of stories happening here in Maryland, and one of the 100,000 across of our country. My babysitter husband was taken on his way to work. A good man with no criminal record, and a single moment everything changed for their families. As the primary breadwinner, his absence has made it incredibly difficult for her to stay afloat and to care for her children. The family has been deeply shaken. The children feel their father's absence every day. The sense of safety that they once had is gone. They are living each day with the fear of losing their mother and the level of uncertainty that no child should have to carry. Too often, this conversation is reduced to policies, numbers, or enforcement. I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit emotional. But I ask you to see people. This county was built by immigrants, and it continued to shape by us. We all came from every corner of the world: Africa, Latin America, Asia, and beyond. Our language and culture may be different, but our hopes are the same. We want our children to be safe. We want the community we want to contribute to the community we call home. In Montgomery County, immigrants contribute over $500 million in spending power and more than $200 million in taxes each year, while also starting business and creating jobs. But right now, our families are being torn apart by ICE, and our immigrant community is living in fears. When one part of a community is under attack, the entire county feels it. This is not about legal status. This is about dignity. It's about our human right. Montgomery County has taken a deep, important steps, and we recognize that. But this demands more. We need investment in legal defenses, mental health support, and strong protection for our immigrant workers. We need not only emergency response, but a long-term stability so family can survive and grow. Despite everything, our community continues to show resilience. But resilience should not be a requirement for survival. So I ask you all today, are you ready to work with us and to protect our immigrant communities? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Thank you. My son was an immigrant. Oh, like I said, we're all immigrants. Thank you. Hello again. Thank you. Hello. Thank you. Hey, Mr.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Marla Shulman, and I'm a member of B'nai Israel Congregation, a Sea Change congregation, and we're members of AIM, and I'm a member of AIM's board, and we're excited to begin the job interview portion of our evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Hull. I am a member of the Adat Shalom Reconstructionist Congregation in Bethesda, which is also a member of AIM through the Sea Change Network. I have lived in Montgomery County for over 27 years. I love it here, and I'm so energized and excited by this event this evening, and it is truly an honor to be here. I'm going to transition to some background. Some of it you've heard, but it bears repeating. Oh, thank you. Action in Montgomery is a political organization, but it is strictly nonpartisan, and we do not endorse any candidates. For this evening's event, we invited every registered candidate who filed by the deadline for Montgomery County Executive. Each candidate was told ahead of time which questions they would be asked in person today, as well as how much time they would have to respond to each question. While we don't have enough time this evening to discuss each area in depth with all of the candidates, each of our candidates filled out a questionnaire in advance covering all 3 topic areas, and you will be able to find their responses to this questionnaire on the AIM website following this event.
At AIM, as you've heard, we are known for identifying issues affecting people's day-to-day lives and then supporting concrete and quantifiable solutions to address them, such as a number of homes or a number of jobs. And this evening, we're interested in hearing candidates' responses to our People's Agenda. And we're looking to identify elected officials with whom we can work together as AIM. We've asked the candidates to share specific, measurable solutions to the issues we've identified, not vague generalities. And we have also asked them to refrain from referring to each other, please, in their responses. To all of our amazing AIM members and audience members here with us tonight, we ask you to please hold all of your applause until the very end so we can make sure to give the candidates each their full time.
I'd like to clarify a little bit further about how the questions are going to work this evening for our county executive candidates. Each of them will end up responding to 3 questions from the stage in this room. 2 of the questions have been pre-selected and shared ahead of time, and the 3rd will be up to the candidate. In other words, first, we will ask all of them the same relational question. Second, we will ask them an issue question that was randomly assigned, about immigration, housing, and climate equity. And then third, the candidates can each choose one of the 2 issues that they were not asked in the room previously. So, and let me just reiterate, we know this isn't perfect, it's not ideal. I know you want to hear what everybody has to say, and I want to remind you that you will be able to read all of their responses to the questionnaire on our website. So we will now hear from our county executive candidates. We have candidate James, Friedson, Wells, Glass, Jawando, and Banerjee here on stage. We met with each ahead of time, and they were given specifics about what questions they were going to be asked, the amount of time to answer, and what order they would be speaking, which was determined randomly. Just like with the county council candidates earlier, we are listening and holding them to specific, measurable solutions to the questions that we're asking. I also want to note for our candidates, as you can see, we have multilingual interpretation happening at this forum. So we ask that you speak slowly and clearly to accommodate our interpreters. And also, please note, we have timekeepers in the front row. Please wave. You may have noticed they are relentless. And when 30 seconds are left, they will hold up a yellow card. When your time is up, you will see the red card. And we're going to be really strict about this because we want to be fair to all of you and make sure everybody has the same amount of time to respond. So please do respect our timekeepers.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's begin.
Marla.
Our first question is our relational question. And we're asking you to please tell us about a moment in your public or professional life when you changed your position on something important because you made a mistake, you received feedback, or you learned something new. We'd love to hear what happened and what you learned from the experience. We're really looking for this as an opportunity to learn something about you and who you are. And you each have 90 seconds to respond. Candidate James, we'll begin with you.
Yes, if Jesus and the Lincoln Douglas debates were held to these speed dating standards, we might not have Christianity and probably would have slavery still today. So go to peterformoco.com, that's with the number 4, to find out what I'm really about. But the thing that probably is most, and I'm going to go off the reservation here a little bit, but the one thing that changed my mind, I've been using AI for 50 years. And with the emergence of this godlike AI, I believe this might be the fulfillment of Revelation chapter 13. We have the county spending hundreds of millions of dollars to people like Larry Ellison, who's backing Trump, and we're feeding the citizens' data and our school children's data to his AI so that it knows everything about us. So what I'm going to do is rewrite all that software and produce the revenues, tens of billions of dollars of revenues to get us out of all these problems. All these candidates are talking about based on a scarcity paradigm. I want to present a prosperity paradigm. We're also going to go through a huge economic collapse because of the overbuilt of the data centers and the commercial mortgage crisis, and we have to have a plan to survive. Warren Buffett, he makes all his money during these crashes. We can set up the county to be very prosperous during this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate James. Candidate Friedson, we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. I'm Andrew Friedson. It is really an honor to be here tonight. We do a lot of candidate forums. We basically do these every night. But tonight's particularly personal for me. I'm thinking a lot about my dad tonight. My synagogue is here. My rabbi is here. My dad spent a lot of time with Cynthia and with Marla Schulman. To be part of this amazing collective effort, I've been proud to work with you on it. And so it's just deeply humbling to be able to be here and to carry him with me tonight. In terms of changing my mind on an issue, I campaigned 8 years ago. And one of the issues that I campaigned on was phasing out the fuel energy tax, because that was a commitment that was made to the business community, and I thought that we should follow through on that commitment. It became very clear that we were never going to phase out the fuel energy tax. It was unrealistic. It wasn't going to happen. And so rather than continuing to fight it, I worked together with colleagues, and Tom Hucker and I worked together, and we passed the Green Buildings Now Act, which dedicates 10% of the revenues from that revenue source to make green retrofits in buildings for residences and for local businesses. The idea that if we're going to meet our climate issues, we should not make it unaffordable for residents to live here, that we can tackle affordability and climate at the same time. It was a recognition that if you can't get exactly what you want, or if it is unrealistic to move forward, the best thing to do is to be pragmatic, to bring people together, to join together with folks who may have had a different perspective, who came at it in a different way, and to actually get something done. The Green Buildings Now Act is the largest climate investment in the history of the county. It generates hundreds of millions of dollars in available projects that we're able to do, and I'm very proud of being able to do it.
Thank you, Candidate Friedson. Candidate Wells, we'd love to hear from you. No applause. Please, please, please. No applause until the end.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me here. Again, my name is Esther Wells. A little background on myself. I am an immigrant here in the U.S. My family came to America in 1995 in search of the American dream. I currently live here now for over 30 years, raising my 2 sons. They're 8 and 13, one with autism and ADHD. Sorry if I'm speaking too fast. And so the one response that I had, it's really personal to me, and so and it's probably the elephant in the room as well. One of the most significant moments in my public life was the decision to change my political affiliations from Democrat to Republican. This was not a choice I made lightly, but one born from deep reflection, feedback, and a realization that my core values, conservative, family first, and Christian, no longer aligned with the current direction of the Montgomery County Democratic Party. In studying positions on the size of government, public safety, taxes, and parental rights, I found that my philosophy closely mirrors that of President Ronald Reagan, who famously made the same transition. My approach to governance is simple. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, but if you teach a man how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. We have a moral obligation to ensure our safety net doesn't foster long-term dependency. I have observed a trend in our county where policies often prioritize handing out fish, which can inadvertently trap residents in a cycle of comfortable poverty. My goal is to shift that focus towards teaching people to fish. I want to empower our neighbors to elevate their lives, move into the middle class, and become homeowners who can build generational wealth. I could say more, but my time's up. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Candidate Wells. Candidate Glass.
Thank you all for being here this evening. Always a pleasure to be with AIM and to listen to your priorities. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Evan Glass, an at-large member of the council. I'm originally from Long Island, where I grew up in a home with a single mom who worked 2 jobs to provide for me. And there were many times where we were at the kitchen table and we fended for ourselves. Growing up on Long Island in the 80s, there was not a lot of government support. But I came down to Washington, D.C., attended American University, first in my family to go to college, and I became a journalist at CNN. And as I was covering Capitol Hill for CNN, I saw the good things Democrats were able to do. Expand health insurance by Obamacare. And when I got elected to the county council, I realized that there's a lot of need in our own community, and that need requires resources. And so there were times where I increased fees and I increased taxes to provide the best schools, to provide immigrant services, to provide all the things that we need. And as time went on, Donald Trump got reelected to a second presidency. And I saw the new need and the new economic anxiety that existed in our community. And so when proposals were put forth by lots of different organizations, including the county executive, to increase taxes again, it weighed heavily on me because I know the need was there. And it's why I didn't support tax increases last year and I didn't support them this year. I know the need is there, but we have to strike a balance, and that's something I'm still figuring out.
Thank you, Candidate Glass. Candidate Jawando, please.
Thank you for the soft clap. I know, just don't, but follow the instructions, please. I'm Councilmember Will Jawando. It's good to be back here. Bishop, thank you for hosting us. We had a big action in this room years ago when we were building the African Immigrant Caucus with AIM's help, so thank you all for that. Mine is a little more political, but it was a very public decision. I ran for the United States Senate. I've been on the council 8 years. Some of you in this room supported me because I know you did. But I had to make the difficult decision. I thought I was the right person, the right progressive, the right message at a time when Senator Cardin retired. But as the race went on, I saw that if I really wanted us to move forward and to get someone who shared my values into the seat, I needed to step back. And I needed to support Angela Alsobrooks. And I did that. It was a difficult decision, but it was the right decision. And it taught me a very valuable lesson. Not only did she get elected, and we got our first black woman elected to the United States Senate first black person from this country, from this state. It also taught me that you don't have to lead on every issue. Sometimes leadership is stepping back and letting someone else lead on an issue. I have great colleagues on the council. Councilmember Kristen Mink comes to mind. She can take lead on an issue, and I can support her in that, and we can get it done. And I can work on things that I lead and work real hard and get it done. And that's the kind of county executive I'll be. And it was an important lesson. I also have 4 daughters, so I'm often changing my mind, or 3 daughters. I'm often changing my mind at home.
Thank you, Candidate Jawando. And Candidate Banerjee, please.
Good evening to all of you, and thank you, host, for inviting me. I'm so glad I was here and pray with you all. My name is Mithun Banerjee, and I was born in India. I came to this country almost quarter to a century, and with 2 suitcases, that's all. Of course, I had a hand baggage too. So, and of course, a lot of books. That time they used to let us carry free books, but now no more. So, I came to this country, did my engineering, master's in electrical engineering, and I did bachelor electronics communication, then worked for companies like Microsoft, Oracle, Honeywell, T-Mobile, US Department of Veteran Affairs under the director appointed by President Obama. Been review panel member for National Science Foundation, NASA, DOD, Office of Naval Research invited me, National Science Board. Been review also the Young Engineer of the Year in Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, as well as received proclamation signed by President Obama, 2015 White House event, and had a wonderful event that I enjoyed. rest of my life. So why I am running? Because when last year I was tired of tax increases, so I said enough is enough, so I need to stand up. And that's why I said I cannot afford, so people are like me can afford. So I put in my platform, no more freeze property taxes. So I have some voters came and told me, why you want to freeze property taxes for all people? So I changed it, freeze property taxes for property less than $1 million. That's the change. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next question on housing will be asked of candidates James and Glass in that order. So I'll keep the mic, you'll hand the mic. Okay. Montgomery County has successfully built mixed income, including deeply affordable housing on public land. We have appreciated partnering with elected officials on this work for 25 years. Ames supported mixed income housing to be co-located with a new library in Chevy Chase, especially because it is walking distance to a new Purple Line stop and on several bus lines. We are deeply disappointed by recent attempts to only refresh the library and not include housing. So the question is, will you commit to work with AIM in your first year of office to identify an additional 5 parcels of public land where housing can be built? And please share how. You have 90 seconds to respond.
Okay. Go to peter4moco.com and look at my transportation system. This is a autonomous guideway system. They're starting to go out in California, Atlanta, and other places, but it will get you where you want to go half the time of driving a car. This will eliminate the need for parking, particularly in the down county area. It will return 25% of the land area, all those parking garages. So we're not talking about 5 parcels, we're talking about thousands of parcels to build, and this is all public land that will go to parks, bike paths, and affordable housing. I'm a robotics guy. We have a robotics company. I can provide at-cost robots to build homes, lowering the cost. I've put automation on earth-moving machines to build dirt-cheap rammed earth homes. So you have to go to my website and see across the board. And Mark Cuban says that sales solves every problem. We're going to see a collapse. The county is struggling with how they're going to parcel out the money that they don't have between all these needs. I'm going to generate literally tens of billions of dollars a year to eliminate taxes, eliminate the county debt. I've done this over 50 years for Fortune 500 companies, generating hundreds of billions of dollars for them. I know how to get it done, but you have to spend probably a couple hours on my website. Thank you.
Same question, Kennedy Glass.
It is too expensive to live in Montgomery County. I know that many people in this room are struggling with rent and even to pay their mortgage as time goes on. But I know that our kids and grandkids are not able to move back to the communities where they grew up. We've actually lost tens of thousands of young people aged 25 to 40 years old. As was noted earlier, that is a generation that is lost. That means caregivers might not be able to be with their families. Grandkids might not be close. And so we do need to build more housing for more people. Absolutely. And I'm proud of the fact that we have been doing some of that co-location. But don't just take my word for it. Before I ever got elected, I was vice president of Montgomery Housing Partnership, the county's largest nonprofit developer of affordable housing. During my time on the board, we built a senior building right next to the Silver Spring Library, the first of its kind. I got it done before I got elected. There's more that we have to do. We have to look at parking garages, parking lots, things that are public that serve less utility these days. And one of the best things about building housing near transit, whether it's the Purple Line or on some of these vacant lots, is people need less cars. and so that we do have walkable, safe communities. And I'm really proud to have led the effort to make buses free, first for kids, then for everybody, so that we can put more housing
So
near
your
bus
time
stops too.
is up, candidate class, but I'd like to ask,
Yes.
I'd like to bring you back to the question,
Yes.
which was about identifying new parcels of land, public land, to work with AIM to use for public housing, to use for housing. And I want to really hear your response to that part of the question.
We need to continue co-locating near libraries, near rec centers, perhaps even schools. If this MCPS closes schools because of declining enrollment, because there are not enough young people moving to Montgomery County, and as we continue building out the Purple Line and other transit hubs.
Thank you.
Our next question on healthy homes will be asked of candidates Wells and Jawando. So you heard from Ibrahima, and we at AIM have measured high levels of nitrogen dioxide, a pollutant that results from gas-powered appliances, and methane, which causes respiratory illness. And at the same time, through our deep tenant organizing, we know that many older rental apartments have limited ventilation, making residents who live there especially vulnerable. We've been working to encourage landlords to transition to highly efficient appliances that run on clean energy, for example, ground sources and air heat pumps, as well as induction stoves. Our question is this: what would you do for renters who are breathing dirty air from gas appliances and want to transition to clean energy and electric appliances, but aren't in a position to make the change themselves? For example, would you support incentives or mandates for landlords to disclose average utility bills and push towards more efficient electric HVAC and appliances in rental units? Candidate Wells, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Thank you for that question. And so professionally right now, I work in the energy space. And just to be very candid, electricity, though it is viewed as the favored energy source right now, electricity does not come from the ground. And so electricity is primarily generated from power plants by converting primary energy sources such as fossil fuels, coal, natural gas, nuclear energy, or renewable sources. And so the reason why electricity prices are skyrocketing is right now is because of policies that our current elected officials have put in place at the state and local level. And so if we have decided not to generate our own energy, so we import it from other states, and we have also decided to tax at 17% businesses in this county for energy. And so energy prices continue to skyrocket because we do not have energy choice. We have single source energy. So what I am proposing is that we need to have all of the above approach to have energy choice, because first, safety, but second should be affordability. But right now, Montgomery County has chosen second to be sustainability. And sustainability and affordability are in polar opposites of each other. And so if we're going to help the most vulnerable populations of families, we need to ensure that it's safety, then it's affordability. And also addressing Ibrahim's comment, we would, as county executive, I will ensure in these older homes that we do hold landlords accountable for ensuring that there are safe spaces for tenants to be and those appliances are operating properly. But we do not need to paint with a broad brush and take away choice from our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Jawando, the same question.
Thank you. It's not an either or. You can have clean, healthy buildings and use clean energy. I would support both mandates and incentives. Ibrahima did a great job. Didn't he do a great job? He did such a great job. Putting a face to the problem. I moved 5 times before I was in the 8th grade, growing up in Long Branch, looking for affordable and habitable housing. I was scared to get out of bed to go to the bathroom because there were so many roaches, rodents, and mice on the floor at night. So I understand that. And let me tell you what I have done, what I will do with this. First, it'll be a requirement, mandate, that you disclose what the energy costs are. If you're going to be paying $800 a month from an inefficient system, you should know that before you sign the lease. We passed, and I co-led our decarbonization law, but it only applies to new buildings, so it's not with the old buildings. Second, I will make sure that we tie your ability to raise rent to maintaining a habitable property. We did that with rent stabilization. If you're on the troubled properties list, you can't raise rent. And if you have this type of nitrogen and all these noxious gases coming out, you shouldn't be able to raise rent. And third, the heat pump money that you all fought for at AIM, let's make sure we prioritize the most needed communities that are represented in this room and then get more of that money. And we have to do it on both fronts. You need both incentives and mandates, and that's what I'll do as county executive.
Thank you, Candidate Joando. No applause, please.
Okay. The next question on immigration will be asked of candidates Friedson and Banerjee. One of the top priorities for our immigrant community is the right to remain with their families in this county they call home. It has been proven that access to legal representation in immigration proceedings makes an enormous difference. Do you believe that all residents of Montgomery County who are detained by ICE should have access to legal representation? If not, why not? If yes, how can the county ensure this becomes a reality? You each have 90 seconds to respond.
Yes, every resident in Montgomery County has the right to legal representation. The county can and should, and in many instances has, helped to provide that legal representation. I will continue as county executive in the tradition that Montgomery County has been a leader on in ensuring that we are protecting and advocating for our immigrant community. We are facing a situation where families are afraid to send their children to school, where we have residents who have eligibility for services, for food, and for other healthcare and related services that aren't accessing those services out of fear. That is an unacceptable situation, and we need to, we should, and we will use every power within county government to push back, to fight back, to protect and look after our county residents, and that includes providing funding and resources for legal representation. There are some differences in this race. There are some differences among elected officials in Montgomery County. There is total unanimity among the political leadership of Montgomery County that we will stand up for our immigrant community against the lawlessness of ICE and will rein in to the extent that we can using every power and every tool at our disposal. I am proud of that. I think we should all be proud of that. It's who we are in Montgomery County and who we will continue to be. And as county executive, I will ensure that we are protecting and standing up for everybody in our community, including the 1 in 3 residents who are foreign born in Montgomery County, one of the most diverse places anywhere on earth, and we will continue to work together with AIM to ensure that.
Candidate Friesen, could I ask you to elaborate on how you would provide the legal resources that you mentioned?
Yeah, currently right now, we have resources that are provided and an action situation where we work with local community partners, organizations like Identity and others, where they are caseworking individual instances where people are essentially kidnapped by ICE. And the county works together with them. I have sourced some of these issues based on personal relationships and also based on my council office. I think my colleagues have as well. We have a team in county government right now that then sends them to our community partners, nonprofit organizations who are in the community doing this work. We can build on that. We can continue that. We must, because it is part of our solemn responsibility as a local government to protect our residents. And we can't protect our residents. We can't ensure the protection of the Constitution and due process rights unless we are looking after our immigrant community through legal representation, but also through other supports as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Candidate Banerjee, same question. You have 90
Thank you.
seconds.
I
to
just want
respond.
one clarification. I believe Action in Montgomery County does want county executive to identify 5 parcels of land for making more houses, right?
We're
No, no,
talking
I know,
about
I know.
the immigration
I know, no,
question right
I'm
now.
going to come to that. I'm just asking. That's correct, right?
That is the question we asked.
Okay. Done. That's it. Get it done. It's over once I get elected. So this is the problem what we are having. That's why I'm saying, how difficult is it? You want it, get it done. That's why I was proving my point. So as a county executive, I will listen to you, not to special interest. So that is where I'm trying to bring my point. So I'm an immigrant. I have my passport card in my wallet. You know why? If ICE picked me up because the way I look, the way I talk, the US Supreme Court said I can be picked up, little inconveniences. No, they put us in detain center for 40 hours, 48 hours, US citizen. That's not acceptable. The Immigration and Nationality Act doesn't apply to US citizen, period. But still they are doing that, harassing us, because they don't like us because we work very hard. So we need to prove that to them and say, under my administration, I will instruct my county attorney, identify them and say, work with the local volunteer attorneys because they have a pro bono hours they have to meet every year. Work with them, get a legal defense for those people who are being picked up, number one. Number two, first day of my office, sign an executive order to police. Stop illegal deportation without due process so that if any 911 call happened that ICE is there, we should go and say, do you have a judicial warrant, not administrative warrant? You have a judicial warrant? No. Take the residents away, safe place, and ask the ICE, get a warrant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates. Now, as we move to this last part, where we'll ask you each to choose to answer a question you haven't been asked, we just want to remind you again, please, that we're looking for specific, measurable solutions. And we will ask you to start by identifying which question you're responding to, and we will be doing this in opposite order from our first question. So you each have 60 seconds to respond. Candidate Banerjee, I'm afraid you're in the hot seat again. Please let us know whether you're responding to the housing or healthy homes question. 60 seconds.
So I will go with this relational question. When you're fighting for an issue that AIM cares about, at which point will you involve AIM, starting with drafting the legislation and through the final vote? I think my time starts now.
No, your time had already started,
Okay, gotcha.
so please continue.
Okay. So I was a program manager, project manager. I worked for Microsoft, Oracle, managed multi-billion-dollar project. So what we do the planning first, implementation later. Not implementation first, planning later. For example, the gas blower, they implemented the law, they started taking picture of immigrants, and then they got threatened, and our landscaping business went down. And then they have to go back and say, oh, we need to fix it. Why didn't you thought about it? That's where I wanted to go. I'm gonna include AIM from the very beginning, from the planning phase, not only AIM, but all organizations that they are caring about people of Montgomery County. And I care for you, that's why I'm running. And no more tax increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Banerjee. Candidate Jawando, would you like to respond to us on housing or immigration? You have 60 seconds.
Thank you. I'd like to do the immigration one. I think this is one of the most important issues of our time. My dad came here in 1970 from Nigeria on the heels of a very bloody civil war. Thankfully, America let him in. Many people have stories like that. And 1/3 of our residents are foreign-born. I became a civil rights lawyer to protect people's rights. As county executive, I'll make sure we have a line item in the budget, not a grant like it is now, for legal representation for immigrants. Again, these are 1/3, 300,000 plus people in our county. I'll also make sure that organizations like CASA and others, and I'm proud to have the endorsement of CASA in action because of my work on these issues, that they have the resources they need to help residents. I was on the phone today with a gentleman named Reza Zavar. You may have heard his story. He was kidnapped from Gaithersburg last year walking his dog, and then spent 72 days in a detention facility in Texas for marijuana usage 40 years ago. The dog was taken back to his mother's house, and she was so scared she thought he had been killed. We have to stop ICE, and that's what we're going to do.
Thank you. Candidate Glass, healthy homes or immigration?
Immigration. Too many of our neighbors are scared to leave their homes, scared to go to work, scared to go to school. And in a community that is the most diverse in the country, home to 4 of the 10 most diverse communities, Gaithersburg, Germantown, Rockville, Silver Spring, we have to do everything in our power to love and protect our neighbors. As county executive, I will add a line item for immigration legal services because that's what's required, but there's a lot more we have to do as well. I'm very proud that just on Tuesday, that was yesterday, right? Yesterday, Tuesday, My colleagues on the council unanimously passed legislation I introduced called the ICE Out Act, which will prohibit privately owned detention centers from opening in Montgomery County. And on Tuesday, I'm introducing another piece of legislation that will ensure that as we recruit more public safety officials, if any of them have worked for ICE or the Department of Homeland Security, they will go through an additional level of scrutiny to make sure public safety remains safe in Montgomery County.
Thank you very much. Candidate Wells, housing or immigration? I can repeat either the housing or immigration. Which one? Housing. Okay. As Sarah talked about, this is a top priority for us. And let me find it here. Will you commit to work with AIM in your first year of office to identify an additional 5 parcels of public land where housing can be built? Please share how. Your time begins now.
Yes, so going off my memory. So yes, I will commit to doing that, but again, we need to do it in a way that's sustainable and affordable. Right now, Montgomery County, we have an affordability crisis, and our FY 2027 operating budget requires us to raise our property taxes, our income tax, fees, and charges, and it also has a built-in structural deficit that next year we would need another tax increase. And so what I will do as your next county executive is ensure that we do things that are fiscally prudent, with good financial literacy, and ensuring that our budgets meet the need of our residents. And so yes, I will identify the parcels. Yes, I will ensure that we involve AIM in ensuring that the most vulnerable populations are able to live there. But again, we need to ensure we do it in a way that doesn't overburden taxpayers, and it's done in a way that's sustainable and allows also residents to move from renters to homeowners and to move into the middle class and build generational wealth. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate Wells. Candidate Friedson, housing or healthy homes?
Marla, I think you know it's housing. There has been no better partner for me as the chair of the Housing Committee than AIM on housing-related issues, and I don't think there's been a better AIM partner than me. And I'm just really proud of the partnership that we have been able to forge. The answer to the question is yes, and I think that's a minimum, and I'll go one further. On the Chevy Chase issue, not only did I say that we need to address this issue at Chevy Chase Library, which I pushed for, demanded, and am continuing to push the executive branch, including in a recent hearing, but I passed a bill, the most co-sponsored bill in the history of the county, working with AIM to make sure that every county property looks at this anytime we do this type of project, because we should be leading by the power of our example and ensuring that we're co-locating housing on county-owned property. We've worked together on workforce housing. We've worked together on housing at Metro. AIM has been the leading champion on multifamily housing and the housing progress that we've made over the course of the last 8 years. I'm very proud of that. We will continue that, and I will make sure that we at least look at the 5 parcels, and I think we should look at every parcel.
Thank you. And Candidate James, healthy homes or immigration?
Immigration. Since I'm part Cherokee, I'm going to go off the reservation again. I got off my couch because I went to the council and Mark Eldridge, and I said, why are we not only providing the information to ICE to round people up, but we're paying them to take it? So I said, turn off the camera feeds, the traffic cameras, doorbell cameras, license plate readers. It all goes up to the Fusion Center where ICE gets it, and there's a company called Palantir. If you don't know who Palantir is, you need to go to my website and find out. So we're also spending hundreds of millions of dollars on Oracle and other techno-fascists, and we're giving our school children. So if ICE wants to find out which kids are undocumented, they go to the school system data, and the AI just pulls it out, and there's something called a kill chain that's used to kill people in Gaza, and ICE uses it to round people up. But you're on that list, and if you attend this meeting,
thank you,
they're coming
James.
for you next.
And I want to say thank you to all of our candidates.
Don't you want some clarification?
No, thank you. We're good. We ask that you all please stand to all of our candidates.